All right. Let us start with asking for forgiveness. Kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame bante bhuri panya tathagata kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame dhamma sanditika akalika kayena vacha chittena pamadena maya katang achayang kamame sangha supatipana anuttara sa namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang saranang gacchami Dhammang saranang gacchami Sanghang saranang gacchami Tisarana gamanang paripunang Panatipata veramani Sikkhapadang samadhiyami Adina dana veramani Sikkhapadang samadhiyami Abrahmacharya veramani Sikkhapadang samadhiyami Musavada veramani Sikkhapadang samadhiyami Surameraya majapamadatthana veramani Sikkhapadang samadhiyami Vikala bhojana veramani Sikkhapadang samadhiyami Nacha Gita Vadita Visukadasana Malaganda Vilepana Dharana Mandana Vibhusanathana Veramani Sikkhapadang samadhiyami Uchasayana, Mahasayana, Veramani Sikkapadang Samadhiyami. Idang me silang, Magapala Nyanasa, Pachayo, Hotu, Appamadena Sampateta. All right. Let us start with the guided karuna. So we sit here. Now relax the body. Let go of all the tiredness, tension, stress. Now keep the mind open, peaceful. Whatever plans and memories, thoughts and thinking, we put it all aside. From top of the head, relax the forehead, relax the face, neck and shoulders, chest and stomach, back, hips, buttocks, thighs, knees, calf, ankles, soles, toes. So relax the whole body. Keep the mind open, clear and peaceful. Now let us start with imagination. Let us imagine we are in a clinic, in a ward or in a hospital. We see many patients with different types of suffering, different types of pains. And here we are looking at them. We wish them all to be free from all the suffering. Whatever suffering they are undergoing, then we wish them to be free from all this suffering. And then here we arouse the compassion. And we bring back to ourselves. Bring back to ourselves. Then we look at ourselves as if like from the outside. And oneself is also having different types of suffering, minor or major suffering, mental or physical. And then we wish ourselves whatever mental suffering that I'm going through may I be free from all this suffering. Whatever physical suffering that I'm going through may I be cured from all this suffering. Whatever suffering that I go through from day to day due to my work, responsibility, family or career, whatever they are, may I be free from all this suffering. May I too be free from all the suffering from the rounds of birth and rebirth. Whatever mental suffering that I'm going through, may I be healed from all this suffering. Whatever physical pain I'm going through, may I be cured from all this suffering. Whatever suffering I go through from day to day, may I too be free from all this suffering. May I be free from all the suffering due to this cycle of birth and rebirth. Now let us spread our compassion. Spread our compassion to all the beings around here. In this meditation center, in the neighborhood, in the locality. May they be humans or non-humans, guardian devas of this center, other devas around here, to all the spirits, petas, to all the animals, big or small, seen or unseen. May all beings around here, whatever mental suffering they are going through, may they all be healed from all their suffering. Whatever physical pain they are going through, may they be free. May they be cured from all their suffering. May all their suffering due to from day to day, may they be free from all their suffering. May all their suffering due to birth and rebirth, due to samsara, may they all be free from all their suffering. whatever suffering, whatever mental suffering that they are going through. May all beings around here be healed from all their suffering. And whatever physical suffering that they're going through in this moment, may they too be cured, be free from all their suffering. May all beings around here, whatever suffering due to day, from day to day, may they too be free from all their suffering. Whatever suffering due to the cycle of birth and rebirth, may they too be free from all their suffering. Now let us expand. Let us expand our compassion to all the beings in this country, whoever they are or whatever they are, humans or non-humans, devas or petas, animals big, small, far or near. All beings in this country, whatever physical pain they are going through, may they be free from all their suffering. Whatever mental suffering they are going through, may they be healed from all their suffering. And whatever suffering they go through from day to day, may they be free from all those suffering. And whatever suffering due to birth and rebirth, may they too be free from all this suffering. May all beings in this country, whatever mental suffering they are going through, may all beings here be cured from all their suffering. May all the physical pain, physical illness that they are going through, may they too be free from all their suffering. Whatever suffering from day to day, may they too be free from all their suffering. May all beings in this country, may they be free from all their suffering due to the cycle of birth and rebirth. Now let us expand. Let us expand our compassion, reaching out to the whole wide world, reaching out to the whole earth, covering them with all compassion. May they be our loved ones, near or far away, or to those people whom we do not know wherever they are, or to those whom we dislike or those who dislike us. To all the guardian devas of the sasana, to all other devas residing in this world, to all the petas, unfortunate spirits, and to all the animals, big or small, far or near, seen or unseen. May all beings in this world, whatever mental suffering they are going through, may they all be healed from all their suffering. May all their physical suffering that they are going through, may they all be cured from all their suffering, from all their sickness. Whatever suffering they go through from day to day, may they be free from all their suffering. May all beings in this world, may they all able to live with compassion and kindness, and not violence, war, or cruelty. May all beings in this world, whatever suffering due to the cycle of birth and rebirth, may they be free from all their suffering. Whatever mental suffering that beings are going through, may they be healed from all their suffering. Whatever physical suffering, sickness or illness that they are going through, may they too be free, be cured from all their suffering. Whatever suffering due to the cycle of birth and rebirth, may they too be free from all their suffering. Now let us expand our compassion as far as the heart can go, without boundary, without exception, without condition, to all the beings in this universe or universes, to all the beings from the highest planes of existence down to the lowest planes of existence, to all the beings from all the world systems, may all beings without exception, whatever mental suffering they are going through, May they be free from all their suffering. Whatever physical suffering that they are going through, may they be free, be cured from all their suffering. Whatever suffering from day to day, may they too be free from all their suffering. Whatever suffering due to the cycle of birth and rebirth, may they too be free from all their suffering. May all beings without exception, whatever mental suffering they are going through, may all beings be healed from all their suffering. Whatever physical suffering that they are going through, may they all be cured from all their suffering. Whatever suffering on the daily basis, may they all be free from all their suffering. Whatever suffering due to the cycle of birth and rebirth, may they all be free from all their suffering. May all the suffering ones be suffering free. May all beings be free from all suffering. May all beings be free from all suffering. We slowly let go of the metta. We bring the mind back again to the body. Feel the sensation, feel the touch, feel the rise and fall of the abdomen. And slowly we let go. And we open our eyes. All right. Now, yesterday I talked about. What did I talk about yesterday? Yeah, yesterday we talked about the noting precisely on the objects which is real. That means it's not created by the mind. And to note them thoroughly, see their characteristic. That is to say, you pay attention to the movements, hardness, softness, heat, and so on. And with that also, when you pay attention, you have to notice them, whether they are changing, getting longer or shorter, getting warmer or cooler. Does it become more painful, less painful? Does the pain change from one type of pain to another type of pain? Does the object become more changing from faster and faster or slower and slower. Sometimes when you notice these objects, there are many times our mind reluctant to see what is going on because of the nature of the moha, nature of the ignorance. Sometimes pain arises. We do not want to accept the pain because we think that we're already over the pain in our past retreats. Then we think that our pain is not going to come back. Then there are people also, for example, yesterday as I said, when you're walking, the expectation is always to do that perfect walk. Any form of the body imbalance, that the leg stretch out a little bit to the side, cannot you think that this is not a good practice anymore because it is not a perfect walk. So a lot of times yogis have different idea, all this idea is one way another, behind it is all moha, delusion. The front of it is attachment. So the delusion is just doesn't want to see what is really going on. Although the word seeing things as they really are, when the yogi go face to face with an object, due to the skeptical doubt, due to whatever, due to this and that, or whatever perception or thoughts that they have, they want to stay in their comfort zone, to note whatever they are familiar with. And when things are changing, they are not used to it, and therefore they don't want to see it. One of the many examples that I've seen yogis that when they have that is when object is changing faster, not just a single object changing, I mean multiple object is coming at the same time. Multiple objects, and you become confused which one to note. Because in the past, you are comfortable with one object at one time. And that is your comfort zone. And when the objects start to change faster and multiple objects become predominant at the same time, you already do not know what to do. Then with whatever it is, you push every object away. You just want to see one object because you think that maybe due to your own perception or due to your own study, especially the Abhidhamma, and sometimes the book says that the mind can only at one place at one time only. Yeah? How can so many objects is coming in at one go? There's something wrong with me. This is exactly the moha. You think you pandaya. You think you are touch. Oh, I read so many, I know everything. But the thing is that you see, whatever that is in front of you, you don't want to see it. You want to think that what is right for you. You want to think what is right for you. The other words, you only want to see how the object should be according to your own perception, according to your own way or how you like it. When object changes in more different from what you think, you cannot take it anymore. So what should we do when objects come multiple at one go? And see them as they are. Just take it as they come, take it only. Don't worry about your book and so on. Just put it all aside. Just pay attention to as they really are. If it's sometimes it comes 2 or 3, then pay attention to 2 or 3 objects. Sometimes you may notice there are 2 or 3 or 4 types of pain at one go. Then pay attention to all of them because they are all in a state of similar prominency. But sometimes after a while, maybe one object become more prominent than the others. Okay, then pay attention to them, to that particular one. Leave the other at the behind. Yeah, see, seeing things as they really are, as simple as that. But many of the yogis have a lot of holding back, a lot of their own perception and whatever that's going through. And that's make meditation very complicated. And you slow down your progress and so on. This is part of the progress. This is part of the vipassana progress. And yet our delusion, this is exactly our delusion, try to stop it from seeing things as they really are. You'll come to a time also when you pay attention to all these objects. You do not know what you are noting already. You know that something is happening very clearly. You do not know what is, you can't differentiate whether this is pain or rising and falling. You can't differentiate this is a pressure or this is a consciousness or thinking and so on. Because everything is just going when they're arising and passing away, changing again and again and again and again and again. You got no time for you to go and think this is what and this is this or this is that. Because the moment that you start thinking about it, the whole noting experience stops. It stops. Because you want to think. It stops. And in other words, when it stops, it goes into moha again, which come out in a form of abhidhamma. You think that wow, you are thinking of it. Which one is which? Which aggregate am I noting at? This is the first aggregate, or the second aggregate, or the third aggregate. All kinds of thoughts arises just to satisfy that thinking, and that is where yogis get stuck. Many times, or sometimes the yogi, they slow down by comparing their progress according to the book. According to the book. They note a little bit of things, seeing a little bit of things. Then they have at the side there, they got checklists, This one seen already pass. That one seen already check. This one seen also check. That one seen also check. 后写了. First insight 了, or second insight, or third insight. I think that's simple. Yeah. There are people who think that's simple. Just see a little bit of arising and passing away only. They think that they see all the anicca already. A little bit here, pee pop up. Just for maybe for a 15 second, wow, they are so happy already. Oh, arising and passing away, seen already. Maybe fourth insight already. Pass. There are people like that. You go in the world of vipassana, then you see these type of things. And that's too bad. How to tell them? As I said many times, I'm not their teacher. I've seen it. I know that they already get caught into it. But I didn't. You see, the thing is that sometimes yogi may think that like that, better don't read anything. If I read anything, after that get stuck, how? That's also it's not the problem. Reading is not a problem. But the problem is that when you meditate, you go and bring all your book knowledge in. Then you get attached to all the book knowledge. And that is a problem. So when you meditate, you put all your book knowledge aside. You can able to remember the whole Tipitaka also doesn't matter. But when you're meditating, you put everything aside. If you corrupt your observation with all this thinking and thoughts and Dhamma and so on, your progress is going to slow down. It's going to slow down. That's the reality, But nevertheless, all of us will definitely think about what we are noting at. All of us will be curious of what we are looking at. Surely there will be. That's not to say there's none. There's always, you see something new, you're so eager. Tomorrow must make sure interview, must tell Bante. Everything right now. Because see something new, well. I know. There's always curiosity there. Well, it's not that you don't have. There'll be times that you are not sure what you are noting at. Then you ask yourself, am I dreaming or not? Or this is really real? Is it that I'm really paying attention to it, or is it that I'm creating it? Now, if it's really real, what is really happening, then you are right. You are in the Vipassana path. You cannot be out of Vipassana path if your mindfulness and clarity on the object that is happening at that moment. Yeah, you won't be out of it. But sometimes, as I said, sometimes there are yogis, creativity, imagination can be very strong, and they kind of like superimpose onto the object of their meditation. Then they cannot able to differentiate those things, and sometimes those creation becomes more clearer, more prominent than the object of their meditation. That can be a problem. For example, some yogis sees this rising and falling, rising, falling, rising, falling. Initially, they see it, then they, sometimes you all note an object, you also describe it, it's like something moving this way. And some yogis note it like a snake, the snake is moving this way and that way. And then after that, not, they're more interested in the snake, rather in the rising and falling. Then after that, the rising and falling become at the more background. Then the snake become more clearer. Then Bante, I see the eyes of the snake here right now. The body is moving this way. Then after they go in and then suddenly come out again. The snake become more prominent than the rising and falling, because they are over describing, over imagination and so on, and it become too much. It become too much. I know there's always when we note something, we want to imagine something, imagine something that's connected to what you are noting at. I know. That's natural for the mind to do that. But the thing is that this created thing, you must slowly put aside and make sure you know to note what is going on. If not, that creativity of yours going to be overwhelm your whole meditation. So this is something that you have to take note. When you're able to take note of the object, make sure that you pay attention to all the object, that you are supposed to pay attention to it thoroughly, clearly, and so on. All object, including your pain and thinking and thoughts and so on. Now, tonight I'm going to talk a little bit more on Cittānupassanā and Dhammānupassanā. Because these are objects where sometimes yogi have a hard time noting it or paying attention to it. Usually, for me, as I said yesterday or the day before on one of the talks, I said that it is not so wise to start off with mental objects. It's better for you to start off with physical objects, especially if you are a beginner. During in the Vipassana meditation, what we are doing, it's good to start off with like 80% or 90% of your time that you are noting on a physical objects. That is to say, rising, falling, lifting, pushing, dropping, hardness, softness, warm, cold, and so on. Yeah? Now another 10% or 20%, then you can note the mental objects. That could be like your thinking. Sleepiness is not so easy if you're a beginner. Thinking also, of course, is also not so easy. Sometimes there are occasions there may be anger coming in. Yeah? Occasion there may be planning memories coming in. When you are in the story, you're not doing vipassana anymore. Yeah? When you are inside the planning, you're not doing vipassana anymore. It's only when you are out of it, then you pay attention to the mental process that's going through. Mental process here means the mental process that is producing the thinking, producing that memory, producing the planning. If you note that mental process, then this is Cittānupassanā. Okay? That's a simple way of looking at it. Huh? Simple. Sometimes, yes, if you are meditating after a week or so, then yes. If you give it to this one to a beginner, yeah, they can't, it's not easy to understand. It's difficult for you to just to pull out the mind and noting what is going on with the thinking process. So it is something that you have to learn, and this is something as a skill that you have to pick up. In the beginning of the meditation, if you're a beginner, we don't ask you to do that. But we ask you not to fall into the story, being aware of it, that you know that the thinking is there, and then after that, put it aside, forget about it. Sometimes you may say that this is not yours, this is not mine, this is only mental creation, and then you come back to the body, see whether you can or not. Usually we give you that advice of that. You note a few times, thinking, then let it go, come back. But when you're more skillful, as the mindfulness gets picked up, you cannot let go of those things. Because as I said, as the days, if you really train, the mindfulness is going to go stronger, clearer. It's going to magnify every object that you're going to note. Your rising, falling, your sitting, touching, including your memories and your planning and so on. Everything is going to be magnified. Because of that magnification and enlarging all your objects, this is only when you can truly see its characteristic. When we are out there, when we are not meditating, when our mindfulness is not strong, we cannot note all this strong thinking of ours. It's not easy. Even when you're out there, let's say you're angry, let's say, and you're aware of the anger. You're aware of the anger. You're aware of the anger, you're aware of it. You are not in Cittānupassanā yet, you know. You know the anger only. It's a precursor to Cittānupassanā, but you are not at Cittānupassanā yet. There's a difference, you know. Knowing the mind, just knowing the mind and Cittānupassanā is two different things. Just because you know a little bit of the mind, oh, I am angry right now. Anger. Oh, I'm greedy right now. Oh, I'm restless right now. When you're out there, you're not in Cittānupassanā yet. You're aware of an object of a citta. You are aware of an object of a citta, but you are not in Cittānupassanā. Cittānupassanā comes in, for example, when there's anger, then you see the repeated process of the anger. and how this anger getting stronger and stronger and stronger, burning you, and how it fades away and how it sustains and so on. If you note in that way, then it falls under Cittānupassanā. You see a difference. You think you can do that this way out there? You cannot. You cannot do that. Unless your mindfulness you have trained before in the past. So a lot of time people do not able to notice what is Citta and what is Cittānupassanā. The word Cittānupassanā is the word, Anupassana is the word that makes it into a Satipatthana. Because the word Anupassana here means repeated observation. Repeated observation on the Citta. How do you repeat the observation on the Citta? That means when the anger arises, you note its characteristic, you know how it grows, you note it in that way, and how it disappears, how it come back again, how it sustains, what does it do to the body, what does it do to the mind. You look at all its characteristic in that way. Then that one falls under Cittānupassanā. Now, for example, you note the thinking. You know the thinking that is restless that's coming through. Restless and then a lot of thoughts. Usually in the Cittānupassanā, especially connected to the restless mind. Let's say you don't fall into its story, which is good. But then the restless mind itself, it's so luan one, And sometimes that restless mind has many random story inside there. If you don't know what you are thinking also, there will be times like that. But there's also certain restless mind, it falls under a certain theme. Repeatedly on the same story again and again and again and again and again and again. And it cannot stop. Those that you notice, the thoughts already go away. That one is not restless mind yet. The restless mind is that you I'm still going. Keep on going. So, when you pay attention to this restless mind, and let's say if you are not in a story, and you pay attention to them, and you notice that they are going one after another, after another, after another, after another, after another. Sometimes the one after another, sometimes it can be faster, sometimes it can be slower. Even in the Citta itself, sometimes it changes much more faster, sometimes it changes slowly. Sometimes it prolong, sometimes it shorten, then sometimes it come back again, then disappear, then come back again, then disappear. So you notice in various ways, then you notice Cittānupassanā in this way. That means you truly pay attention to the whole mind right now. It is all restless, all cha-cha, commentary and whatever. That's all restless mind. But you have to be patient with the restless mind. Because this restless mind is like your patok pain. My chow one, you don't want to go away. You just want to stay there. But if you are good enough, if you are patient enough, sometimes you just note the restless mind as just like you label it now, you label it as restless, or planning. Sometimes even Mahasi Sayadaw says, if you know that you are running, thoughts of running, then you wrote running. If you remember, if you somehow or another you see yourself like eating, right? Eating. So it's perfectly all right. It's perfectly all right, because here you are more like being away from it. You step back and you try to notice what is going through. And when you notice that also another trick is to slow down your noting with a firm but calm noting. You still note its process, but while you're noting it, you just note it as planning, 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 planning. And you see all the story keep going, planning, planning. And you have to be patient. And you got to be patient. And you're going to test your patience now. Because this restless mind, when it disappears, you think you wholesale. After a short while, the whole it sends its bigger army for you. Then you go the TV, not. After that, you think that the whole wholesale, everything gone, and it come back again. Pop, 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 pop. So sometimes you got to be patient. Yeah, you got to be patient, and you note this restless mind. So you see its changes, you see its speed, you see it is moving one after another. You see sometimes different story passing through, and you notice those things. If you can able to do that, then it falls under Cittānupassanā. Okay? So too, like sleepiness, also the same thing. Now after 10 days or so, a yogi must learn how to notice that sleepiness. I mean, at least you try lah, I know a lot of time it's just and some people are not here, maybe I don't know. Some people they sleep until they snore, How they snore, I don't have no idea. They could snore. I heard it before, in a retreat, it's so, and it affects a lot of people. It affects a lot of yogi, and the yogi gets frustrated with it, with all this type of drowsiness. Now, when you're drowsy, when you pay attention to the state of mind, if you still can, usually I recommend. If there's only 50% of sleepiness is there, 50% your mind still clear, and then it's a chance for you to fight. If you are 100% sleepiness but for this is the first 3 days, you cannot do anything, or 3 or 4 days, you cannot do anything. Your body is just tired, your mind, your body is adjusting from the outside world to the inside way of doing things. So it is impossible for you to go and note all this type of sleepiness. So in order for you to note sleepiness, you have to pick up the mindfulness first, at least a number of days. Now, when you pick up a number of days, then the mindfulness is there. Now, while you're noting the rising and falling and so on, then at the back of your mind, you know that it's coming already. You can be able to feel it, that somehow or another, the noting starts to drop a bit. The energy starts to slowly drop a bit. If you're not careful, if you're not used to it, usually it will slowly overwhelm you until you're already sleepy already. Then that time, very hard for you to pull out. So it's a skill. It's a skill that you can able to detect it before it grows strong. But that sleepiness can be persistent. They can be persistent in the sense that they're not going to run away. It's going to hang around there. Then this time, when they become prominent enough, clear enough, then this time, pay attention to it. See its characteristic. See how it works. So this time, for example, you pay attention to that sleepiness. Aware of that sleepiness, this time, you notice it slightly a bit more faster, yet firm. Sleepy, 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 or drowsy, 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 or lazy, 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 lazy. Because this type of sloth and torpor, sometimes it does not come with nodding, moving of the body. No. It's just your eyes can be open, or even you can sit up quite straight, and yet your mind just don't want to note anything. Sit there, So, lepak there mentally, mentally you just lepak at the sitting only, you don't do anything. That is also a form of sloth and torpor. It's just laziness, the laziness of the mind. And you ask them to note, you push the mind to note it doesn't want, it just hang around there. It's a type of sloth and torpor in a lighter form. So if you're able to notice them, this type of state of mind, you notice lazy, 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 lazy. Sometimes boredom also is part of it also. Yeah. You sit after a while, you get really bored. And then boredom can come in many ways. Sometimes the boredom come in, you get so frustrated with it. That means that is connected with connected with aversion already. Yeah. Sometimes the boredom come in, you just sian, really sian. Nothing to see the same thing all over again and again and again. Morning, see the same thing. Afternoon, see the same thing. Night, see the same thing. Yesterday, see the same thing. Day before, also see the same thing. Maybe tomorrow, also see the same thing. Sian, yeah. Then that's where all the boredom comes in. And it comes in and you don't really detect it. So what you should do? You note it as they are. So when it comes in, you note it boredom, lazy, 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 lazy. Maybe it's going to last you half an hour, 20 minutes or so. Yeah? But you got to see it. And you got to learn to feel it. That how this laziness or boredom is eating into your mind, into your psyche. And sometimes it gets stronger. And it gets stronger, like it's going to darken the mind or make the mind heavy. Yeah? Or make the mind very, your focusing becomes so narrow, off. This is how you pay attention to. It's a different characteristic of the sloth and torpor. You not just give up, You don't just give up because honestly, how many sloth and torpor per day you have? Yeah, you be real, yeah. How many sloth and torpor you have per day? How many of restless mind you have per day? If you don't do anything about it, that means maybe like 50-60% of your time here is gone. You're only waiting for that 50% or 40% or 30% of your time just to note your lifting, pushing, dropping, sitting, touching, rising, falling, maybe about 30%. How about the 60-70%? What are you going to do? So you're going to miss a lot. You're going to miss a lot of it. So Cittānupassanā here is to able to directly see it as the nature as they are. You see the sleepiness, how it become dark, it become clear again, it become dark, and then strong, it become weak, it sometimes it disappear, and how the mind become bright again. Then you notice how it bright. Because when you're able to notice when it's bright and clear, then because of the sloth and torpor just happen only, then you begin to know the contrast of when there's a clear mind and there's a sloth and torpor mind. When there's a restless mind and when there's a calm and alert mind. And because there's a contrast there, it just happened. And it's wonderful for you to take note of those things. So Cittānupassanā is directly paying attention to all this nature of this object. Now, another way of Cittānupassanā is when you begin to become more proficient in this meditation, especially if you really do your walking meditation properly. That is where one of the key ingredients for all the mindfulness to come in. And also your daily activities also. Normally, if a yogi sustain on that walking meditation, then a number of days, sometimes it take a number of days. You got to just be patient. You have to do it only. Then objects of the sitting meditation only become clear. Especially for new yogis. Because usually new yogis are more attracted to the sitting meditation. Walking meditation, they don't care, don't bother. So many of the yogis are like that. Many of the yogis. Then development is very slow. So slow. So if they re-strategize their whole skill, re-strategize and you develop them, that is where when your mindfulness starts to pick up, sustainable, when you sit there, you sit down, this is where your physical objects become clearer. Physical objects become clearer, that means rising, falling, sitting, pain, and so on become clearer. Now, slowly and slowly, the mental object can also become clearer to you. And you don't have to go very far, very deep into Satipatthana or deep insights and so on. Don't worry about that. Even in the first insight, you're already noting Satipat. You're already noting the Chitta also already. Now, one of the thing that the Chitta, the aspect of Chitta, and the knowing itself, it's when you begin to notice the pounding of your heart that yesterday I talked about. The one that you can see on, you think that you're going to have a heart attack. But that is the nature of sometimes the Chitta. It starts to become more clearer to you. When the English word, we use the word mind. But what do we use in Mandarin, in Chinese? Exactly, the heart, isn't it? So it's exactly when you pay attention to the nature, the mind, that sometimes the heart itself will start to pound a little bit more clearer. And these are the signs where the Chitta become more clearer to you. And yet people think that they're going to have a problem with this and that. You see how the mind doesn't want to see all these other things? Right in front of them, some things are coming up, and yet a lot of times they just cover it up. Whatever that your other teachers can talk about it. Sometimes, not just Vipassana, others, in other tradition, other form of meditation and so on. And some yogis sees a bit of this heart pounding, the teacher asks them to stop noting, stop meditating. No, whatever this one. But over here is actually part of the whole progress. So many of the yogis, you can able to notice this pounding of the heart. And pounding of the heart sometimes, the impulsion that comes up, pip up. And sometimes some yogis yang kaya gao, they put their thumb here to check, see whether the pounding and the pulse of the heart, is it the same or not? How come bo xiang? How come that one go faster, the heart goes slower one? What happened right now? It's kaya gao, Especially at one time, one doctor, this one, they noticed the doctor, because of course they studied the heart, how the rhythm of the heart beat pop. There's a double note, So he began to analyze his beat pop, whether this is mind or whether it is a heart, or whether how come when you start to meditate now you can hear the heart pounding on beat pop, beat pop, beat pop. Is this the heart or is it the mind? So he go and think about it. Don't have to do that. Don't do that. Sometimes we tell them don't do that, but doctor, so engrossed with the idea, that during the Vipassana meditation, they can really hear the heart pounding. Concept. The whole concept, the whole idea is so, superimposed on what their observation right now. So that's why it gets, in a way stuck, So what you should do? Then you pay attention to it now. If it's pounding a bit faster, pounding a bit slower, impulse a bit faster, a bit slower, pay attention to it. Sometimes it pay here, pop. Hey, how come it changed to the right side one? People. Hey, how come I got right side also got heart? So, So they overthink, that'll be a big problem. Yeah? So if you don't think about it, then it's just beep up, it go left and it go to the head or it go to the buttock, so it doesn't matter. Let it pop and let it go, whatever it is. Slowly and slowly, the knowing aspect of the mind becomes clearer to the yogi. The noting mind becomes clearer to the yogi. Yeah. And sometimes it begins, for some yogis, it begins to superimpose right on your rising and falling. That one is good, not your concept this time. And this time is and then it goes together with the rising and falling. Then here, beep, beep, pop, pop, and then here, rising and falling. Then it is good. If you happen to see it, don't purposely go and look for it just because I say so. Let it come on its own. Let it come on its own. It comes in different ways. It comes in different way. Sometimes it comes in this way or that way. So you keep your mind open. If it's just a pounding of the heart, then notice it, or rather in the heart area, So pay attention to them. Pay attention to those things that is happening. Don't reject them. Sometimes it may go faster. Pay attention to it. If it goes slower, pay attention to it. Don't become don't become fearful. No need to become too over curious, overthinking about it. Just see it as they really are. Then you begin to notice the nature of the chitta. So it's good because that a lot of times the noting mind itself becomes prominent. The mind that you note your rising and falling becomes a prominent object rather than the rising and falling. So you have to learn to see it for yourself also. Yeah? It's not just only the rising and falling, it's going to be prominent all the time. But as you progress, as the mindfulness pick up, this noting mind becomes clearer to you. Not the restless mind, not the sleepy mind, not this type of mind, but the actual noting mind itself. So if you're able to note them, how they changes, sometimes you note a bit faster, then Cittānupassanā. Yeah, you notice the Cittānupassanā. Now, Cittānupassanā, you're going to see, as I said, you pay attention to it. If it's angry mind, you notice the anger. Then you see that the how the mind changes, how it becomes stronger, it becomes weaker, it becomes faster, it becomes slower, it disappears. Fine. If you know it in that way, then it's very good. But when it comes to Dhammānupassanā, then things again takes a slight different way of noting, slightly different way of noting. Now, in order for you to able to do Dhammānupassanā, you have to be skillful in the first three. That is to say, you have to be skillful in the body, Vedana, the feelings, and also the chitta when it comes to Dhammānupassanā. Now, Dhammānupassanā is a interaction. You begin to see the interaction of multiple objects. Conditioning. Here the word is conditioning. You see a multiple of objects. For example, you've been doing it already. A lot of you have been doing it already. You notice your intention. Then leg moving. Right? You notice intention, then you notice that the leg actually moves. So it goes from a multiple discipline. That is to say, from a mental, which is intention, it moves to the walking aspect, the movement of the leg. The movement of the leg where? Body. So it goes from the mind to the body, and you begin to see the interconnection of it. Then what happened? Then it's actually Dhammānupassanā. All right? You've been seeing it. Yeah. It falls under Dhammānupassanā. But of course, we don't go and look gao liao, ho liao liao, Dhammānupassanā liao. No, we don't go and say all this type of thing, I mean, you just note, we give you the instruction, you tell you, you note this, then you do, But just for understanding's sake, just to make the Vipassana more interesting, just to make sure that you listen. So it happens. It happens already this time. When you take note of them. So you notice from the mind into the body. This is one way how conditioning aspect takes place. Now, sometimes, as I said, maybe 1 or 2 talks ago, I said that sometimes when you move your hands, there'll be many intentions along the way. And with that intention, there's a slight movement. Then after that, intention, slight movement, intention, slight movement, intention, slight movement. So you see a multiple mind that arises, multiple body movement that arises together with the mind. So again here, it again falls under Dhammānupassanā. But we just use the word, okay, notice the hand moving, But if you just notice the hand moving, you notice the hand moving like that, but you don't see the mind that's come together with it, then this one falls under Kayanupassana. It may look the same thing, from the outside, from another person looking at you, But how the mind takes the object, because one take the object, mind and body, one only take the body only. Now, whichever it is perfectly correct, Not that one is more correct than the other. It's just that at that time, it shows you that way. What are you supposed to do? You see it that way, You're seeing as they are, because at that present moment, it shows you that consciousness, that mind, then it happens, then the body takes place, another mind, body, mind, body, mind, body, mind, body. Then at that moment, you see it that way. Another time, you may just see the nature of the hands moving on it. So when the nature of the hands just moving, you don't notice the mind, then it becomes fall under Kayanupassana. Okay? Simple to understand, isn't it? Yeah. So this is something like this here. But things is going to go more complicated. A little bit going to be a bit more complicated in the Dhammānupassanā. Is that let us come back to the restless mind again. Earlier on, when we pay attention to the restless mind, we just pay attention to the state of mind which is restless right now. Then you see how the restless mind going more, going less, going changing, getting disappear, coming back again. Then it falls under Cittānupassanā. When it comes to the Dhammānupassanā, in the restless mind, then you begin to see again here interdiscipline. That means it's connected with other objects. It's connected with other, whether it's feelings or body or mind, for example. So you notice the restless mind. Restless. After that, you notice that the more that you notice the restless, your head also become tension. Or the neck also become tension. So it happens in that way. So what are you supposed to do? So you note restless, tension. But the more that you're restless, the more tension it becomes. But do you see it? You don't see it. You think that it's all like that. If you just don't pay attention what is really in front of you, you're going to miss out a lot of things. Even as simple as this restless mind that you have all the time. So pay attention to it. Even that little tension that comes up together with that pulling of the neck, pulling of the shoulders a bit, just take note of it. You don't, but this time you just have to be careful. Don't over push it, Don't at the back of your mind, unsure what note could be Jawe. You know, how come it's still there one? I note. I thought I last time I note already, it all disappeared. This time I note, still there. Because here is all your desire and all your dislike. So no matter how you're going to note at the time, it's not going to disappear because it's being fueled by that aversion. So all your noting is all corrupted, at that time, corrupted by that little anger, little impatient, little all that thing. So you must see things as they really are. It's just to note whatever that's going on. So as I said, the word seeing things as they really are, it's not as simple as what you think it is. So pay attention to it. So that if there's a number of restlessness that arises, then it's like a pulling here and there. Take note of it. Don't go and tell yourself, hey, relax, relax. This is exactly most of us who are doing it. We are diluting all the experiences to suit what you want. You see? Yeah. Chia bia bia panti bia. Relax, you tell yourself, relax. I know lah. I know it's difficult. I'm not saying that it's easy. Sometimes it can be overwhelming, yes. But try lah this way. No, this is something that you can try. Yeah. Then before we go, it's already 9:35. Before we go, let's talk about that sloth and torpor. In the terms of Dhammānupassanā, again the same thing. You begin to see the drowsiness that's connected with the other parts of the body. What other parts of the body right now? Your head. Your head that is nodding, for example, or your body that is swinging, like that. That is also part of experience that is connected, the body movement that is connected with the sloth and torpor. Outside there, we look very ugly, And this yogi came on like that. But if you pay attention to it, let's say, as I said earlier on, if you got that 50% of your mindfulness still left, notice that sleepiness, sleepy, and then after that, nothing. You also note that movement of the head also. Note it. So sometimes twice it come back again. Then after that, come down again. Note again of that movement, sleepiness come up, movement takes place. Sleepiness, movement. So sometimes it may be your body that is moving forward a little bit. No, it goes forward slightly a little bit. Then take note of it. Sleepy, moving, sleepy, moving, sleepy, moving. No matter how it is. Not like some yogis are they kick down, no. That is wrong. Again, you see, the subtlety of the vipassana objects is actually right in front of you already. It's just that we don't want certain things to happen, or we want certain things to happen according to what we want. And we do not know the craving is there now. Because what I said, the moha behind it, the delusion behind it, is just to want you to see the truth on it, even it's right in front of you. You think that all this is not the right object. What do you think, So, if happen tomorrow, let's say you having a nodding, pay attention to the nodding also. It's part of the whole mental process. If you can do if you cannot do, don't cry over it. This is all skills you pick up over the years one. Not. I mean, tampo try lah. There's no harm. After all, you're sleepy already. Do something about it lah. It's not that perhaps because of that sometimes the whole mindfulness come back again. You find that you can able to overcome the sleepiness quite in a good way lah. You find there's satisfaction in it lah. Okay, we'll stop here. Then we'll continue on this topic on tomorrow. Right. Idang me bawanang Nibbanasa Pachayo Hotu. May my mental cultivation be a condition for the realization of Nibbana. Imang no Punya Bagang Sabba Satanang Dema. We share these merits with our departed ones, with all beings and all the devas. Sabbe Satta Sukhi Hontu Anumodantu. May all beings be happy. May they rejoice in these merits. Sadhu.